A member of the channel requested for a tutorial, and as part of the perks of being a member, I'll create one video request of your choice. So in this video, I'll be teaching you guys how to animate portals in Flip a Clip. To create a portal animation, it's pretty simple. Let's break it down to how portals work fundamentally. A portal has two openings, and they both take in things and transport them to the other end. So to animate a portal efficiently, we'd have to animate something going in the first face of the portal and simultaneously coming out the other end. Before we get to the main part, which is animating the portals, I'll animate a stickman throwing out the portals. Apparently, it's his superpower. First, he stretches out his hands and throws out the first portal. This one would be towards the ground. Since this stickman animation isn't the main part of this tutorial, I'll rush through it, but if for some reason you want the raw uncut version, let me know so I'll upload it on the second channel. After the stickman whips out the first portal on the ground, he goes for a recoil and throws out the second portal to the top. With this, we have two portals, one for entering and the other for coming out. Since this took quite some time, enjoy the short time lapse. But remember, if you want to animate stuff like this, I have a tutorial playlist in the description along with the tools I use for animating. Be sure to check them out to get started. After animating the stickman throwing out the portals, I animated his hands come to a rest. At this point, I'll hit heads. The main portal animation comes soon. Of course, now that I'm done animating the stickman throwing out his hands, it's time to actually animate the portals being whipped out. I'll select green for the color of the portal. For now, I just need to animate the base. I'll add other details later. For this portal, I'll animate it to be sort of squishy, kind of like the one you'd see in Rick and Morty. I'm going with a similar portal style. At the point where he throws out the portal, preferably at the smear frame, we'll start the portal animation from there. Be sure to follow along with the tutorial to get an idea of how I'm animating mine. Basically, the portal is formless and appears squishy until it hits the ground to become a flat oval-shaped figure. I'm animating this on another layer so it doesn't conflict with the stickman animation, and also because I intend to turn on the glow later. Now once the portal hits the ground, it takes its final shape, an oval-looking goo. At the second frame after the point where it hits the ground, I made sure to use the lasso tool to add a little squish effect to the portal. To do this, I slightly stretch the portal with the lasso tool, then at the next frame the portal goes back to normal. This adds a bouncy feel to the animation. Once I'm done with the portal on the ground, I'll copy and paste it in each frame, then move to animate the portal at the top. Now it's time for the portal at the top. We'll animate this one similar to the first one. First, let's start out at the smear effect right as the stickman throws his hands. And just as I said earlier, I want the portal to appear squishy, so it doesn't take form until it hits the top. Be sure to take note of tiny details like this. They help give the animation more life. Finally, as it hits the top, it'll take a final shape. I'll copy the same one from the ground and use it for the top. After all, they're the same portal. Once the portals are now in place, we move on to animate the final part of the animation. In this part, the stickman jumps into the portal and comes out the other end. Since this is just the character animation, let's speed it up a little bit. Now this is the essential part of this tutorial. You animate the stickman passing through the first portal. You also have to simultaneously animate him coming out of the top portal while he's going through the ground one. After coming out the portal, he lands to the ground, and then the character animation is over, but the portal animation is still missing something. Anyways, before we go on to the portal animation, I'll heads to the stickman. At last now we can see the animation taking shape, but now it's time for the icing on the cake. To do this, we'd need to use the eraser along with the ruler to mark a point and clean off the stickman's body on both sides of the portal. This makes it look like he's actually passing through the portals. After marking a point, I'll clean off the rest of the body that's passed through the portal. Then I repeat this process with the other portal. At this point, the animation is almost done. The portal animation just needs a little more detailing. As the stickman passes through the portal, I'll animate some particles of the portal moving, kind of like he's jumping through liquid. Now that we're done animating that, there's still something else to add to the portal animation before turning on the glow. I had the idea to draw spiraling white lines across the portal. This gives it a more defined look. You can choose not to add this to your animation, but personally, I think it makes it look better. After that, the animation was pretty much done. I turned on the glow option for the portal, and this is the result of the tutorial. And that, mates, is how to animate a portal, and if you want you can throw in some backgrounds and sound effects to get something like this.